Hi everyone, welcome to Sprinkle Some Love with a Cause by Trisha Mullen. Today we have Toina Smith here. We are going to do another update with her. It's December 2021. We've done several updates with Toina, so that's why I kind of wanted to date this one. Hi Toina.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm alright.
Good. So if you want to kind of start off, I know that a lot has happened since we last spoke. Um, I kind of want to start off with before everything with your daughter. I know you had a hospital visit. We were waiting to hear back from a big hospital that you had traveled to for procedures, and you were having a surgery or going to be having a surgery at the time. Do you want to kind of start there for our update for everyone? For those of you who don't know, Toina is epilepsy and gastroparesis, which is GP for short. But if you want to kind of give us an update and start there, that's kind of where we left off last with you.
Back.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to move to a different room.
It's okay. I could hear there was some things going on in the background.
Yeah, my kid was getting in trouble.
Okay. So, I know previously you were like going to a hospital, you were traveling out of town. It was quite a little, like an hour or something away at the time. Whatever happened with that?
Um, well, they said that I will be permanently stuck with the feeding tube because my GP is quite severe and they aren't really sure what is causing it. And what caused me to have it, but they actually ran some tests and I'm supposed to hear back from them.
What test did they run, do you
And
know?
like a bunch of blood tests.
Okay.
And then they also ran like some kind of special uh some other special test. I don't remember
Was it
exactly
like a
what it was.
scan or something like that? Like a scan or like an MRI or a CAT scan or something like that?
It was like a CAT scan, I think.
Okay. So those would be some good answers to get, definitely. Well, then, after all of that, I know that some things had happened with your daughter. I kind of wanted to leave that area to you and how you wanted to update the audience on that. I haven't really said much of anything because I kind of feel like this is your area and I want to leave that to you.
Yes, so about the epilepsy, I passed it down to my 2-year-old daughter, and they didn't find it, and they couldn't like give her any medication because she was supposed to see like a pediatric neurologist and get in to see one, and we tried making that appointment and they kept laying it off, and we told them, and her doctor specifically told them it's very important that we get her in because she continually like shaked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And well, when this night she was perfectly fine, and the night that she was perfectly fine, she was up playing, running around,
I remember
talking.
you and I spoke, and she was happy and normal, and everything was fine.
Yeah, she was literally fine. I went to the restroom. I told her I would be right back. She said, "Okay, Mama, love you," and gave me a kiss, and I gave her a kiss. And I ran, as soon as I heard my mom say call 911, I ran out of the bathroom as quick as I could. and I seen that she was blue and she had vomit all over her.
Oh my lord.
So what had happened is she had a seizure and she had aspirated on her vomit. That was what happened, and they tried all night October 30th to revive her, and the 31st they pronounced her dead.
I remember that morning of when you called me. It was a very hard morning to hear this news from you. Um, that is so. I couldn't even begin to pull together any words to say other than I am so sorry for this tragic situation. And I love you, Tanya. I'm so sorry like that happened, and I know that you've been very strong since all of it, and I see that you guys have done a lot of things in her name. Would you like to kind of talk about some of those?
Yeah, so we've actually made like little memories of things with her, and just like little memorial things in remembering. And like I'm trying to spread more awareness of like sudden death of epilepsy, because that's basically what that was. We didn't
Definitely.
expect that at all. Like it just happened. Like she was perfectly fine.
You're absolutely right. And awareness is so key for this. Because there are a lot of people that this actually does happen to. It's more common in epilepsy patients than people realize. When they hear epilepsy, they just assume multiple seizures. But sometimes those seizures are a game changer, and they're sudden death. Sometimes depending on the person and their body and how they can handle it or process it. So we definitely need more awareness on that because that's not something people very talk about. So people don't relate those two together, but they definitely should, for sure. So I know you've been through so many traumatic things the last couple of weeks. I feel like since Halloween, it's been like never ending. I kind of want to tell the public a little bit about the fact that you're from Mayfield and what happened there. I'm sure everybody knows, but if they don't, let's inform them of what happened after that. So you return home from the hospital, you have the funeral, you're adjusting back to what you can try to call a new normal life. And then this happens. So what exactly happened in Mayfield?
Well, I after my surgery and after my daughter's funeral and adjusting to life, I thought everything was gonna be smooth after that, and of course I was still mourning my daughter because I currently still am. But well, all of a sudden, um, the meteorologist, because it was like 70 degrees or something, meteorologist said to get prepared because there was like a EF4, EF5 tornado
Mm-mm.
coming our way, and it destroyed our whole town. And
It did. I definitely seen that on the news. So where were you when it happened?
in the bathroom, in the bathtub, like literally crying and shaking, like scared for my life.
For
And
sure.
I was hovering and crying over my baby because my baby is literally just scared of wind now. She's traumatized over her sister, but now she's traumatized over this now too.
Definitely. She's just gone through multiple traumatic experiences in such a short time. So I can see that. The both of you are young, your baby and you. So I could see the both of you having to deal with this is very hard. How are you emotionally handling? I see that on Facebook that a lot of people in the community did not survive, and I know that you know a lot of those people. I've seen so many different posts recently on your page that I'm like, I don't even know where to start for this update because there's so much. Um, so if you kind of want to shed some light on anything, you're welcome to give a shout out to anybody you want, or you know, reminisce or like RIP to anybody that I know you lost quite a few people during that tornado.
Yeah, my Huda and her family. I just know what Huda is going through though, because like she just her 3-year-old passed away in her arms. Um, whenever the tornado was going through, and I just want her to know that I know what she's going through,
Okay.
losing her child.
Okay, I definitely know that you know. And I'm very sorry for that person, and I'm very sorry for that child that is lost, and for this tornado that has taken the lives of many people in many different towns as well as Mayfield. I know that that tornado didn't just hit your town, but I know that you were personally affected by this for sure. Um,
Oh, I'm traumatized. Like I constantly have nightmares now. Like when I close my eyes, I hear like windows shattering, like train like wind. And they said we're supposed to have more storms the 28th because it's going to be 70 degrees again.
oh Lord, and that is 3 days after Christmas. Um,
Yeah.
is the town even to that magnitude of like prepared for any form of storms? Because there's like 12 houses or something it looks like survived, not very many. Like literally, I don't think the town is ready for another storm. But ready or not,
Not really.
like it
There's like,
is.
it's like a whole ghost town here. Like, everybody has either moved or they have just left completely.
So at this point, what would you plan on doing for the 28th? Do you have somewhere where you could evacuate to just in case it does come back? Because the town's not very sturdy, and if another tornado comes through, it's, I mean, you're lucky once the house to survive. I'm not sure about twice if another tornado comes. I would get out of Dodge if you have a good enough warning after Christmas to go somewhere for a day or two that's out of the range of that said storm, just in case that is another tornado. Is that something you guys can do?
I don't know.
You don't have any other family that are or relatives that you could like after Christmas that you guys could travel to for a day or two?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I'm so sorry. So, is there anything you guys can do to help make sure the house does stay like board things down, or is there anything you guys like any way you guys could prepare?
Yeah, we were prepared the last time because like before the electricity shut off, we literally were listening to the news so we would get prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the electricity shut off, I told him, and it got quiet, and I said, as soon as I heard the quiet noise, I said, I'm going to the bathroom. And I took my baby in there with me, and I said, I don't know about y'all, but I'm going in there. I knew something was fixing to come right then and there, because always when you hear quietness after like it
Mm-hmm.
raining and thundering and lightning, it's not a good sign. So I just took her and went in there.
You're absolutely 100% right, and that I'm so glad that you did. Um, at that point, did any of your other family follow, like, and decide that maybe you were onto something?
Yeah, my mom did, but my dad, he was standing at the door. But the script, once he seen the wind and it almost blew him back, he ran to the
Oh, he
bathroom.
was on his way there next. Don't leave me behind. For sure. So, with all of that, how do I know that we skipped kind of a little bit over your surgery? In between the funeral and things, you had a surgery. What surgery was that again? I forgot which one it was because I know you've had quite a few. Didn't they just
Well,
replace your tube or something? Wasn't it like a replacement though?
yeah, it was a J tube replacement because the this one that was that the ER replaced whenever before my daughter's funeral, because the original one had fell out.
Okay.
What and I went to the specialist in Louisville, and they tried flushing it, and they did this test to see if it was in the right spot, and she said we have to schedule you for emergency surgery ASAP. I said why? She said because it's not even in your intestine, and it's not you could bleed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and she said that I could have bled internally because it was the way it was laying and stuff.
So they fixed that on the spot and did emergency surgery?
They were, yeah, pretty much they did.
Okay. I recalled seeing that you had said something about that the new tube was better than the replacement from the emergency room because like something about the way it was working. So you noticed a good difference after?
Yes, I did because it immediately started working a whole lot better than the one the emergency room had put in.
Okay, so definitely. And have you been seizure free since that?
Uh, no.
No, not yet, fully.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I've already had two major seizures and been rushed by ambulance after the tornado.
Okay. And did the hospital survive down there? Like, where are you being rushed to?
The hospital did survive, they didn't get touched.
Okay, that's a blessing. That truly is. Um, Alrighty. Well, I'm glad that everything is working out for you now and that it's all working like properly with the way that your GP, the surgery and stuff, your J2. Um, I don't know if
We
we. No, go ahead.
we were without power for like 6 days or maybe longer.
So yeah, talk about that a little bit. So how were they able to get power back? What did they have to do?
Well, I'm on a pump for my feeding, so like I had to figure out how I was gonna keep doing my feedings, and I had to do the gravity bag, and with the gravity bag, it wasn't working out for me.
Okay. So after 6 days, were you able to get a nurse to come in between there to the house and maybe tend to the bag or do something?
Yeah, she came in and she told me to go to the ER, and I went to the ER because I was looking bad. I looked dehydrated, and I looked just
Green,
horrible.
like no color.
Yeah, I looked I looked sick, and I went there, and it turned out I was very dehydrated. So until the power came back on, they had left this IV in me with like fluids running through me.
Yeah, the clear fluid, like the sodium and all of that.
Yeah,
Okay. And that's awesome because that's actually what you needed because you weren't able to get the other fluids and you need some type of fluids in you or you will get dehydrated, sick, and another seizure or something will happen because you're not getting any from the J tube. Like, without the pump to pump it, it's not going to be work on its own. So you need something in your system. You can't starve. So I see what they did, and now you have full power though back on. Everything's back to normal there at home.
yes, we have power now, but people across the street from us don't.
Okay. So how does that work? How come you guys do and they don't?
I don't know. I think there's just I think it's because there's a lot of damage
Oh, on that
around
side.
us,
That
and
could
they
be.
they were working on the power lines to see if they could get their electric on, and I guess there's some kind of problem.
Yeah, there's probably no lines left running to and from that house, perhaps, and they might have to run new lines. Um, yeah. So, how long has it been for them without power?
Maybe a week or two, or going on two
Yeah, I
weeks,
would say two
maybe.
weeks because it was 6 days for you before, and then plus all the days now that you've had power and they haven't. That's hard. I definitely feel sorry. I hope that they get their power back on too soon.
Yeah, 'cause it's actually cold right now, but like I said, that's supposed to change on like Christmas, so
Okay.
it's weird weather. And since the tornado actually happened, we have not seen a bird in sight except those birds that like
The crows,
the
the ones
dead
that
or
eat, yeah, the hawks and
that.
crows.
Yeah,
Okay. The big black
it's
bird.
really weird.
Um, that is weird, but how many trees survived? You gotta think about this. And then in those trees are the nests for the birds. And then when a tornado comes, if they didn't already migrate their way out, where do you think they would go? If the house gets sucked up, I'm sure a little 2 pound, 5 pound bird is gone somewhere too. Um, and then I'm sure that later, just like they spit back out pieces that get sucked into the tornado, I'm sure there's dead birds laying around, which other birds are now coming to get and accumulate from the hawks and stuff and get those animals, like the squirrels, birds, or whatever other animals got picked up within the winds. But if the trees are mainly knocked down, you're not going to see squirrels or birds for quite a little while until they repopulate and until they fly again. Like, you know how they fly north or they fly south, depending on the season? You'll have to wait for the season to come again.
Yeah,
So, I don't know. Just
but
my thoughts.
it, I'm not ready for. Hopefully, it won't get bad again. The 28th.
I'm praying that it definitely don't. And if they're giving you alerts, though, they definitely know more than I do. And if they gave you alerts already previously that helped you, follow whatever alerts they're giving because they definitely are onto something. And if they knew in advance about the tornado and they were able to give you enough time to prepare, whatever they're saying, is probably true. So if they're saying beware on that day, beware. Like, and if the hospital stayed is stand-in, maybe there's a way you guys could plan a way to evacuate to the hospital that day. Or maybe there's like a building that is really sturdy that the town wants everyone to come to. These are things that you guys should be discussing at your town meetings to determine what is safe or not safe and what happens if one does come again. Where are people to go? Where is shelter?
Yeah, 'cause there's like nothing left downtown at all. It's all
Exactly.
demolished.
So that would be like the hospital or somewhere like that. But this is where the town meetings would indicate those things, or you guys would talk about those at the town meeting, and then people would put those in place if that's what the people are requesting. But the small amount of people that are left have to go to those meetings and give like an opinion or a say so, and then normally flyers and things are put up for knowledge. And if you find the flyers, I don't really know what it is down there, their exact method, because it seems like there's not much left, like to have a town or city meeting. So at that point, I'm not exactly sure what you would do. But what are the local news saying? And what are they discussing about?
Well, they said anytime it's like 70 degrees or like above the 60s or like uh, almost 70 in December, you should be aware because it's not like a normal temperature for us, and you should be like aware of more severe storms. But
Okay.
they're not saying it's a threat or anything at the moment. But
Oh, okay. I thought it was a threat on the 28th, more or less. So yeah, let's just keep and pray and hope that it doesn't turn into anything. Um, well,
it still scares me though.
yeah, I'm scared for you. That is kind of why I'm scared to live down south. My number one fear out of everything in the world is tornadoes. When I was younger, I had a couple fear things that we were involved in some pretty big storms that were where there's like they were tornadoes, but the funnel cloud didn't fully touch the ground, but they did quite a bit of damage. And the storms, like you said, I was a child, like you're a kid, so I remember like the house shaking. I remember like the lightning. I remember the power going out. I remember my neighbors all coming over and sharing our basement. Neighbors that we always didn't like or talked about us or we talked about them. They're all huddled up in one basement now, trying to be our friend because they didn't have a basement. And I remember things got pretty rough a couple times in my childhood with these tornadoes in Michigan. And this past summer, I was up out of town, and the tornadoes passed through where I live, and my son was home with the dogs, and he had a friend over, and the house was shaking, and they were scared, and the tornado came through, and it touched in some areas, and then in some areas it didn't. But it took down quite a bit in the damage, but it didn't. It took more trees and like the tops of buildings, kind of, or like the sidings off of buildings, but it didn't even fully touch. So I couldn't even imagine because I've never been in a full tornado, but I'm pretty scared of them just by being in the half breezes that I've been in. Um, yeah, I'm good on tornadoes. When I go down south, tornadoes and hurricanes are not my thing. I'd rather deal with winters and snow and freezing like negative degree weather in the winter than summertime tornadoes. I'm so fearful of them.
Well, yeah, cause like there was this tree that was next to our house that was I bet it weighed about 1,000 pounds, probably, or maybe more.
Oh, I believe it. Trees are
The
heavy. They're very heavy. They don't look as big as like they look. They don't look so like if you think 1,000, it was probably way. It was probably more than that.
it was uprooted and during the tornado, and like whenever they were cleaning up over here with the um whatever they had, the bulldozer and the saw,
Mm-hmm.
whenever they were cleaning up in our yard, thank God that tree fell the other way. It was two trees just like that, actually. If they would have fell this way, it would have killed all of us in this house.
I think God was definitely looking out for you and had said, "You've been through enough. I'll help you through this one." Because, like, I don't understand, like, how, like, your house made it, your neighbors didn't, your trees didn't land, like, everything was a blessing. Like, everything was still there and standing in a town that, like, only there wasn't very many, houses that were. So, I definitely feel like you have a guardian angel for sure. And maybe it's just your little girl now there, and she's like, not happening to my mama. you know, you never know who it is that's watching over you. But I definitely feel like I want to give a little bit more of a tribute to your daughter. I feel like I didn't really know how to because, it's so touchy and I don't want you to be all sad again because we had to go through that with you, and I don't want to get you back to that point. But before we end the show, is there anything you would like to say in regards to that, or any like message, or I love yous to her, or anything like that, before we wrap it up?
Yes, I really love you, Abigail, and I miss you lots. And I know you're watching over me, and your sister, and your nana and papa, and your dad, and your stepmom, and little brother. Of course, they're in Tennessee, but
Definitely. Um, she was so young and tiny. Um, for those of you who don't know, I believe she was 2, correct?
yes, she was 2 years
She
old.
was 2 years old. She was just a baby for real. Well, I am so sorry about everything, Tanya, and I'm definitely looking forward to helping you put all those pieces back together slowly but surely. And definitely be here for support and constant updates. And, if you ever need me, reach out. I'm always here to chit chat or just, you know, be there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate your time and I look forward to chatting with you more on Sprinkle Some Love with a Cause by Trisha. Until then, I will talk to you later, and much love and enjoy your evening.
You too.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.